summer school of the Russian International Affairs Council and the Northern Arctic Federal University addressed a number of tasks in 2012. The Northern Arctic Federal University today is already a platform for implementing important international projects related to the Arctic. 25 participants from various cities in Russia spent a week drafting a roadmap for international cooperation in the Arctic, and also participated in the simulation of the Arctic Council working session. The school is organized at a high level, which is interesting. The format itself is interesting. Therefore, it's been a pleasure to attend this event. I'm pleased to have been selected by the expert commission and to be enrolled in this school. I expect that the next several days will also be intensive, that everything will go very well, ending with a good quality product, the roadmap we're looking for. The aim of the roadmap is to promote a favorable environment for the use of the regional resources by the Arctic countries on the basis of mutual, beneficial, and responsible international cooperation for the period until 2018. For the entire planned period and for every step individually, it is important to choose the basic elements of the roadmap: goals, reference points, information gaps, obstacles, actions, priorities, and timeline. The roadmap may consist of alternative ways of development, as well as describe potential problems and conflict situations. The participants should determine the approximate deadline for achieving the declared goals for each stage.
Ребята, отлично. Настрой хороший.
We've got a perfect team here. The attitude is positive. We all got down to work right away. But most importantly, we must think about achieving results. We must work so as to finally produce a document which would not embarrass the leading experts on the topic we're working on. The final document should contain a stage-by-stage action plan of achieving effective international cooperation in a number of priority areas: international partnership, institutions in the region, natural resource exploration, transportation infrastructure, security and strategic stability, environmental protection, and scientific research. When you meet with people from absolutely different specializations, it can be very hard to understand the language of a lawyer or an ecologist. But very interesting solutions are generated in the process of communicating with people. It brings about very interesting conclusions. When you're put under such a tight time frame, decisions are made more quickly and efficiently. The roadmap was to take into account Russian interests within the context of other countries' interests and requirements. Recently, my colleague and I made a study about Russian policy in the Arctic, and our main conclusion was that Russia is ready to cooperate. To chart a roadmap, the participants were to get acquainted with the main priorities of other Arctic states: Denmark, Iceland, Canada, Norway, the USA, Finland, and Sweden. To do so, participants staged a business game simulating the work of the Arctic Council. Just a few hours ago, we sat at the negotiation table and took part in simulating real negotiations to address specific and very complex tasks. We communicated, and everyone defended their own point of view. The participants studied the positions of the Arctic Council member states, defined their priorities in the region, and options for cooperation over disputed issues. The business game revealed the complexities of establishing multilateral cooperation in the Arctic, holding negotiations, and taking into account the interests of all parties in achieving joint decisions at the international level. When you start to think about the problems and try to formulate your own perspective, it's something absolutely different from trying to remember something for an exam. For example, the UN Law of the Sea Convention. These are two different things. When sometime later, we had already caught the difference and learned to interact, this made our work much easier, but the first days were extremely difficult. We learned to see the structure. That is, if previously we held some sort of scattered knowledge, now we've learned, after interacting with each other as a team, how to take your knowledge and part of someone else's knowledge and put it together. I believe it's an issue of forming a certain pool of young researchers who will deal with the Arctic agenda. The goal of the school is to create a new generation of such researchers. As a result of attending our school, each participant receives ready-made solutions for typical problems, new contacts in one's professional community, involvement in the expert network, and participation in RIAC projects.